This is Retro Sports Radio. Visit RetroSeasons.com for more sports history.
The Michigan State Spartans faced the Michigan Wolverines for a Saturday afternoon game on October 12, 1968. After two straight undefeated seasons in the Big Ten in 1965 and 66, the Spartans finished the 1967 season with a 3-7 record under Coach Duffy Daugherty. The Wolverines finished 1967 with a 4-6 record under Coach Bump Elliott. 1968 would be his final season before the arrival of Bo Schembechler. This audio recording is from the Ann Arbor radio broadcast, featuring announcer Tom Hemingway.
The Spartans of Michigan State versus the Wolverines of Michigan. Hello, everybody. This is Tom Hemingway. And today, again, we have the spectacle of spectacles, the annual Michigan State-Michigan football game before over 101,000 fans here at bright Sunfield, Michigan Stadium this afternoon. Well, they say football is a game of emotion, and never is it more emotional than in a Michigan State-Michigan football game. Michigan trying to defeat the Michigan State Spartans in Ann Arbor for the first time since 1955. State, by winning today, could tie the longest winning streak in this series of 4 straight. For the 21st straight time, the game is a sellout. And since 1948, more than 1,900,000 people have watched this game in either Michigan Stadium or Spartan Stadium in East Lansing. Both teams have returned to the field. They've had the flip of the coin between the captains, Ron Johnson of Michigan and Al Brenner of Michigan State. Michigan won the toss, elected to receive, while Michigan State has gone with the wind here in this first quarter and will defend the southern end zone and will have a wind of about 7 miles an hour to their backs. A game billed as a battle between the Spartan quarterback, Bill Caracco, who specializes in both the running and the passing game. Tommy Love, the surprise of the Spartans this year in the rushing attack. Only a sophomore, but already has picked up 268 yards and 57 carries. Michigan State also known for their fine defense through the years, and this year is no exception as they are keyed by Rich Saul, one of identical twin brothers on this Michigan State team, and you'll be hearing a lot from him this afternoon. And of course, the captain of the Spartans, Al Brenner, who is one of the last of the two-way players in collegiate football today, playing both split end on offense and safety on defense. Let's run down the starting lineups now for Michigan State, and we'll put them on defense since that's the way they'll open the game. At the ends for the Spartans will be sophomore Wilt Martin, 6'3", 220-pounder. He is from Selfridge Air Force Base, where his father is stationed. The other end is Ken Little, who was injured in the Wisconsin game, but is expected to see action in this contest and perhaps start. He's 6'2", 220, a junior from Youngstown, Ohio. If he does not start, it'll probably be sophomore Gary Nowak at the other end, 6'5", 230-pounder from St. Clair Shores. The tackles for Michigan State on defense: Rick Benedict, a junior, 6'2", 225 from East Lansing, and Charles Bailey, a senior, 6 feet, 230 from Dayton, Ohio, and they call him one of the top defensive linemen in the Big Ten. The middle guard is Jack Zindel, a junior, 5'11", 190 from East Lansing, moved ahead of Bill Dawson, who broke a foot in an early scrimmage session, but Lindell also has been hampered by injuries in his career, but Zindel will be starting here. The linebackers we already mentioned: Rich Saul, 6'2", 218-pounder, a junior from Butler, Pennsylvania. He leads the team in tackles with 35 this year and also has 3 interceptions to his credit. The other linebacker will be Don Law, junior, 5'11", 227-pounder from Brownsville, Pennsylvania. In the secondary for the Spartans, the cornerbacks will be Frank Waters, 5'10", a senior, 185 from Hillsdale. He was shifted from a flanker back to the defensive secondary by Coach Duffy Daugherty. And senior Ken Hepp, 5'8", 170 from Birmingham, Michigan. As we already mentioned, the safety man is Al Brenner, 6'1", 194-pound senior from Niles. He had a 95-yard punt return last year against Illinois for a Big Ten record. And the roverback is Jay Breslin, a sophomore, 6'3", 185 from East Lansing. Now the Michigan Wolverines on offense will have a tight end, Jim Mandy, 6'3", 215 junior from Solon, Ohio. At the split end will be Jerry Himsland, junior, 6'2", 210 from Northville. He'll alternate with Bill Harris at the split end. The tackles on offense will be Dan Beardorf and Bob Pinkston. The guards, Dick Calderazzo and Stan Broadman. In the center will be Dave Denson. The quarterback quarterback is Dennis Brown. The running backs, Ron Johnson and Garvey Craw. And at flanker, John Gabler, after being injured in the Duke game, sitting out last week's game against Navy, should be back in action this afternoon. Kicking off for Michigan State will be Gary Boyce, a sophomore from St. John's, Michigan. Set in the deep spot is George Huey at the 5-yard line. He has Johnson and Lance Scheffler up ahead of him at the 10. A gorgeous afternoon for football. Jam-packed Michigan Stadium awaits the opening kickoff, and here comes Boyce, here comes the football, we're underway. Right down the field to Huey at the 12, comes to the 15, to the 20, right to the edge of the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, and he's finally knocked down in Michigan State territory at the 48-yard line by the kicker, Gary Boyce. So Michigan's George Huey, as he did last week against Navy, electrifying the crowd with a long run back of 39 yards in the opening kickoff, and Michigan has a first and 10 to go at the Spartan 49-yard line. They flank Gabler wide to the left. They set the eye behind Brown of Craw and Johnson and split off of it now. As Brown turns and gives off to Garvey Craw, and he finds a hole over the middle, and he's down for about 5 yards to the Spartan 44-yard line. Where underneath the pile, the white-shirted number 61, Charles Bailey, 230-pound senior from Dayton, Ohio, and Don Law. They say his knee touched down at the 45-yard line, a gain of 4. Second down and 6 yards to go. Again, Gabler is flanked to the left. Imslin is tight on the right side. They split the setbacks once again as the handoff is given to Ron Johnson, and he doesn't find too much room over the left side of his own offensive line, as he has maybe a couple at the 43-yard line, where he was hit by Don Law once again. Right side linebacker. Here's a change on the Spartans defensive unit now. Number 66, Mike Hogan, checks in there. And number 65 goes out. Jack Zindel, that's at the middle guard position. Jack Harpring has replaced Dick Calderazzo at left guard for the Wolverines, carrying a play in. It's 3rd and 4. They're going to run a play motion to the right side, and down keeps him. He's over the 40-yard line to the 39, very close to the first down. He may be just inches shy. Making the tackle was Don Law for the 3rd straight time, and let's see if they're going to bring the chains in. They are. He had to go to the 39-yard line. The ball is resting, apparently, just shy of the 39. Whether there's any part of it over, of course, is the determining factor, and it is just about 3 inches side. They're looking at the sideline, and the Michigan State Spartans are making a couple more defensive changes. They're coming in with a couple of big defensemen up on that line as Michigan is going to go for it. 4th down and inches to go for the first down, and here we are just about a minute and a half into the ball game. Now we've already got a big crucial play staring us in the face. Ron Bill and Mike Young with a big defenseman on the line checking in for Michigan State. Brown looks down the line of scrimmage as the referee marks the ball for play. Brown has him lined up in the eye. They break off of it, however, as the handoff is given to Johnson. He's got the first down as he's down inside the 39-yard line before he was hit by Al Brenner, who came up from his safety man position to make the tackle on Ron Johnson. The ball is resting inside the 39. First and 10 to go for Michigan State. We've got the dog on the field. A little early in this ball game. It's a different dog, however, than the one that gained about 280 yards against Navy last week. First and 10 to go. Gabler's flanked to the left. Brown hands off to Johnson. He finds a slight hole on the left side. He's in the open at the 20, the 25, the 20. He may go. 50, 10, 5. Touchdown, Michigan. Bob by his teammates in the end zone as he found the hole over the left side. Bob Penksta, Garvey Craw, Dick Calderazzo made some key blocks up there in front of Johnson. Frank Waters was the only man with a chance to get Johnson, and Johnson simply squirmed away from him at the 15-yard line and went in for the touchdown. Johnson's 5th touchdown of the season. And now, Tim Killian will try to make it 7-0. The kick is up. It's good. And with 13:04 remaining in the first quarter, Michigan leads 7-0. Wilson carrying it in from 38.5 yards out for the touchdown. Brown staying on the ground the entire series. And need I tell you that the Michigan Wolverines are fired up right now. Frank Titus will kick off for Michigan. Don Highsmith is deep. Along with Tommy Love, it's a short kick caught by a lineman and falls on it up at the 32-yard line, number 64, Mike Young. It was a line drive kick right down the middle of the field that Young caught right in his midsection and fell to the ground immediately, not risking a fumble. So the Spartans have it first and 10 to go from their own 32-yard line. Eddie McLeod is the center. The guards are Ron Saul and Don Baird. The tackles Dave Van Els, Craig Wysinski. The ends Frank Foreman and Al Brenner. Bill Farraco is the quarterback. He pitches wide to Tommy Love as the flag goes down. Love steps back in at his own 35-yard line and is knocked down to 37. Making the tackle for Michigan, Henry Hill starting at middle guard and Cecil Pryor, but a flag down to let's check it. Farraco the quarterback, Dick Berlinski and Tommy Love are the setbacks for the Spartans, and Charlie Wiedemeyer is the flanker. Michigan's defense runs down this way. The ends are Phil Seymour and Cecil Pryor. The tackles Dan Parks and Tom Goss. The middle guard is Henry Hill. The linebackers Tom Stinsick and Ed Moore. The cornerbacks Brian Healy and George Huey. And the safety men are Tom Curtis and Bob Wedge. The walk-off is against Michigan State. It's a 5-yard penalty for illegal motion on the part of the Spartans. And that moves the ball back to the 22-yard line. Make it the 27-yard line. First down and 15 to go. The Spartans line up in the I. They have the slot back to the right as Brenner is split to the right. They're going to run it out of the I. Farraco back to pass. He hits Wiedemeyer at the 31-yard line, and he's knocked out of bounds immediately by number 91, Phil Seymour, the defensive left end, and Brian Healy, the left cornerback. Knocked out of bounds at the 31-yard line. It will be second down and 11 yards to go. The Spartans in all white this afternoon with the green helmets and the green numerals. This time Wiedemeyer flanks wide to the left. Brenner is split to the right, about 5 yards in motion to the right. Goes Berlinski to pitch out, comes to Love, and Love is hit right about at the line of scrimmage. On a fine defensive play by, once again, Phil Seymour. He was assisted by Tom Goss. So Phil Seymour, 6'4" junior from Berkeley, Michigan, has come up with a couple of key defensive plays in a row for the Wolverines as the Spartans now are faced with a 3rd and 10 situation as they move the ball on that play only a yard to the 32-yard line. Tommy Love checks out of there as the Spartans on 3rd and 10 sets Farraco to the left, and Farraco gets up to Berlinski, and Berlinski finds a big hole over the left side, and he's up to about the 45-yard line of Michigan State. Making the tackle, Jerry Hartman for Michigan, and that'll be enough for the first down. Gordon Baudell goes out of there, and Love comes back in. Baudell checked in there for Love, and they had actually 3 ends in the game for Michigan State on that play. Baudell was set in the slot to the left. First and 10 to go from the Spartans' 45-yard line. Wiedemeyer this time is set in the slot to the right. Brenner split to the right, and motion to the right goes Berlinski, and the pitch out to Love, and he's going to try a power sweeper on the right side. Steps back into Michigan territory at the 45-yard line. He's nailed by Tom Goss. Curtis got a hand on him back at about the 50, and Goss rode him to the turf at the Michigan 46-yard line where it's second down and a yard to go. So far, both teams sticking pretty much to the ground, although there has been one pass thrown, that by Farraco. There's movement on the line. Everybody gets back on side, however, before the snap. Farraco hands off to Berlinski. He fumbles, falls on it himself, as there's a pileup down at the Michigan 41-yard line. Berlinski was hit by Goss, and Henry Hill fumbled the ball, but luckily enough, it stayed right under him as he fell on it at the 41-yard line. That's enough for the first down. First and 10 to go for the Spartans. Michigan leads 7-0 early in this first quarter. Over 101,000 fans here at Michigan Stadium this afternoon. Wiedemeyer set in the slot to the left. In motion to the left goes Berlinski. This time to pick up the love. He's going to fly right through on the left side, and he's hit just about the line of scrimmage by a host of Michigan tacklers. First to nail him was Ed Moore. George Huey came up along with Cecil Pryor. All of them knocking Love down just as he got it over the 40-yard line, so there was a pickup of actually 1 yard on the play. Second down, 9 to go. Eddie McLeod comes over the ball at center for the Spartans. Slot to the right this time as Wiedemeyer's in it. Brenner way out to the right. Bronco's going to go back to pass. Fires it, fakes it. No, he's going to run with it down. He's down for about 3 to the 37-yard line. Henry Hill dragging into the turf as Bronco pumped once, didn't let it go, found his man covered, and held on to it himself to the 37-yard line. Here goes Brenner out of there, and Gordon Baudel checks in for him at the split end. He's 6'2", a junior, 204 from Allen Park. It's third down and 7 to go at the Michigan 37-yard line. Another big third down play for Michigan State. They paid off on it the last time on a 3rd and 10. Baudel comes wide to the left. Wiedemeyer set in the slot to the left. High formation behind Carracco. A handoff on a reverse play to the flanker back. Wiedemeyer. He's in the open. The 30, the 25, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5. He's knocked out of bounds. Let's see if he made it into the end zone. He was knocked out, evidently, after he dead cleared into the end zone, just over the flag, so it is a touchdown for Michigan State. Wiedemeyer was hit right at about the 1 yard line by George Huey and just stayed on his feet long enough to get inside that red corner pylon marking the goal line down there at the corner. So it's 7-6. Gary Boyce will try to tie it up. He's a left-footed kicker from St. John's. Wiedemeyer is holding. Here's the kick. It's no good. No good. Off to the left. So the Spartans fail on the extra point attempt, and the score holds. Michigan 7, Michigan State 6. And Dave McCabe looks like we've got a scoring afternoon so far in progress.
Yeah, we do, Tom. I had a brief conversation last night with Tony Mason at the press party that they have each week here at Michigan, and he told me that if Michigan could maintain some poise, which they have not done in the last 2 or 3 Michigan State meetings, that they'd be in the ball game all the way. And certainly they've exhibited that here early in the ball game, and State coming right back. We're in for a real winner here today.
That drive of the Spartans covered 68 yards in 8 plays, with Wiedemeyer going 37 yards for the touchdown. Johnson went 38 and a half for the Michigan touchdown. Here's Boyce on the kickoff now. It's a sailor, goes back into the end zone, and who lets it go, and it rolls out for an automatic touchback, and they'll take it out for the 20. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. This has been a fabulous series. Certainly it has gained national status as one of the top collegiate games year after year across the country. This is the 61st meeting of these two clubs. Michigan holds an all-time series lead of 36-19. There's been 5 ties. 1st and 10 to go. As down the line of scrimmage in the option play goes down, he cuts back here at the 20, and he's up to the 24-yard line for a gain of 4. Holding on to him there was Frank Waters, left cornerback, son of the Hillsdale coach, Muddy Waters. Played a lot of flanker back for the Spartans, but shifted to defense this year by Daugherty. Second down, 6 yards to go for the Wolverines. Gaber is flanked wide to the left. Jerry Imsland, the split right in. Brown turns, gives off on the counter play to Ron Johnson, and Johnson gets back to the 25-yard line, and that's about it. He is piled up there by the entire right side of the Michigan State defensive line. Check it as they get off the bottom of the pile. Wilt Martin, big defensive end from Selfridge Air Force Base, the last off the pile. Here's Mike Hogan checking into the Michigan State lineup. Going out of there is Jack Zindel. Martin and Nowak now are the defensive ends. 3rd and 4 to go for the Wolverines. Brown fakes the pass, gives off on the draw play to Darby Shaw, and Shaw is short of the first down as he's stacked up at the 26 by Charles Bailey. Defensive right tackle for Michigan State, whom they consider perhaps their top defensive lineman. That'll make it fourth down. And 4 yards to go, and Michigan is forced into a punting situation. They send Charlie Wiedemeyer back as the lone deep man. As Mark Warner gets his punt away, it's a high one, not too far. A fair catch called for, and then the Spartans let it bounce, and it rolls down to the Michigan State 35-yard line, where it dies. And Michigan State will put it in play at that point at the Spartan 35, a punt of 39 yards for Mark Warner, no run back by Michigan State. We've got 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, Michigan leading 7-6. Ron Johnson scoring on a 38.5-yard run early in the ball game. Charlie Wiedemeyer coming right back for the Spartans with a 37-yard touchdown scamper. The difference being a missed extra point right now by Gary Boyce. Al Brenner splits wide to the right. Wiedemeyer set in the slot to the right. The I formation behind Bill Farraco, senior, 5'11" from Irwin, Pennsylvania. The handoff is given to the second man through. Tailback Tommy Love. And Tommy Love is up to about the 40-yard line. He runs right into Phil Seymour, along with Tom Goss, defensive left end and tackle respectively. Spartans come into this game with a perfect 3-0 mark. Michigan with a 2-1 record. The Spartans have already seen action in the Big Ten this year. They walked all over Wisconsin last week, 39-0. Michigan, this is their first Big Ten game of the season. Slot back to the right is Wiedemeyer. In motion to the right goes Berlinski. The hand up right up through the middle goes Tommy Love on the fullback dive right over his own center, Eddie McLeod. And he has perhaps one or two to the 41-yard line. Cecil Pryor and Dan Parks make the tackle. So it's third down and 4 yards to go. So far, the Spartans have excelled on third down plays. They were 3rd and 10 deep in their own territory on the first series of plays. They made it on another third down. They went all the way for the touchdown. On the option play, Farraco slides off to the right. He's going to shoot the goal. He finds a hole over the right side, and he's up to the 49-yard line. It's another first down for Michigan State. The tackle made by Tom Goss, senior, 225-pounder from Knoxville, Tennessee. And the Spartans have their fourth first down of the afternoon and their 75th yard on the ground. Farraco has gone to the air only once. He has completed that one toss. Brown has yet to throw his first pass. 1st and 10 to go. The I formation. This time Wiedemeyer is flanked wide to the left. Brenner split right. Farraco turns and gives off to Tommy Love. Slides around the left side, and he is bowled over at the 46-yard line of Michigan by Tom Stinsick, senior linebacker from Cleveland, Ohio, and the right cornerback, George Huey, the other senior, Flint Central. Big Ten leader in punt returns last year, and he got Michigan off to a great start in this game as he ran the opening kickoff back 39 yards to put it in Michigan State territory where the Wolverines went in. Wiedemeyer flanked to the right, Brenner split left. 2nd down, 5 to go. Back to pass goes Farraco. He's going to be hit for a loss. Coming through there to Spilling was Ed Moore, the sophomore linebacker on the right side from Youngstown, Ohio. Farraco faked the draw play to his fullback Berlinski, kept the ball, but nobody touched Mr. Moore, and it's a loss back to the Spartan 48-yard line where it is 3rd down and a long 10. So here's another big 3rd down play. 5 minutes to go in the quarter. Michigan leading 7-6. They're running a slot out of the left this time as Wiedemeyer set in it. Farraco turns, gives off on the reverse again to the flank. Charlie Wiedemeyer coming wide. He's going to be hit for the loss. Henry Hill, sophomore middle guard. Wasn't buying at that time, and we have an injured Spartan player. It appears to be the center, Eddie McLeod. That's the same play they ran for the touchdown, but this time Henry Hill said, no, I'm not buying it. So we have a timeout on the field on the Sparta Michigan State with a score, Michigan 7, Michigan State 6.
Also caught a quick glance down in the field time. It looks as if Henry Hill got banged up on that play, on that tackle. He may have twisted his knee a little bit. He's out there nursing it right now a little bit. I think the Michigan trainer is going to come out and have a look right now. And two great defensive plays there from Michigan. Nobody touched Ed Moore. He just breezed right by his blocker and dumped the quarterback. And that time Henry Hill just poured it on that nice reverse play. Michigan State really pulled it off the first time for the score. But as you said, he would not have it that time. Kept his eye right on his own area out there on the left side and pulled a man down.
Dave, I think it's interesting to note also that both Henry Hill and Ed Moore, the men that you just talked about, are both sophomores. And both are expected to be around here for another couple years, hopefully making those same type of tackles. Eddie McLeod has been assisted from the field, and coming in to take his place is Tom Beard, a sophomore, 6'6", 250-pounder from Battle Creek, Michigan. The Spartans will be forced to punt for the first time this afternoon. Dick Berlinski dropping back to do the punting. He hails from Quinnipiac, Michigan. High pass from center. He pulls it down and gets rid of the ball. It's a wobbly kick hitting at the Michigan 25-yard line, and it goes out of bounds at the 25 of Michigan. Gordon Bodell with first down on the play for the Spartans to watch it go out. So Michigan will put it in play, 1st and 10 from its own 25, a 30-yard punt that time for Dick Berlinski. 4.5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Michigan holding a 7-6 lead. Both teams scoring the first time they had their hands on the football this afternoon. Over the ball at center comes Dave Denson for Michigan. He's a senior from Xenia, Ohio. They split the setbacks. A wide pitch out to Johnson. Around the right side he goes to the 25 and holding on to his jersey right up around the neck.
Ball carrier with Johnson.
Was big number 82, Gary Nowak.
By Nowak.
Johnson got by Nowak, but Nowak, who is 6'5" and 230 and has a reach of about the length of Bill Russell, reached out and just nailed Johnson right at the neck by his jersey and pulled him down at the 29-yard line. Make it 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Johnson's jersey is torn and his shoulder pad is flapping on the right side. Back to pass for the first time, goes Brown, fires it, 35, 40, 35, he's knocked out of bounds. At the 32-yard line of Michigan State by Frank Waters. As Brown on a beautiful fake up the middle to his fullback, Darby Crawl, faded back and hit tight end Jim Bandage at the 50-yard line, and Bandage moved it down inside the Spartan 33, 1st and 10 to go for Michigan. First pass of the afternoon for Dennis Brown. Gabler, flank to the left. Craw and Johnson, and there's movement on the line and contact made as the flags go down. So let's see who made the first move. The officials for today's ball game are referee Eugene Calhoun. The umpire is Frank Strocchia. The head linesman John Olsen. The field judge Robert Dagenhart, and the back judge is Donald Wedge. The penalty is against the University of Michigan for illegal procedure and moves it 5 yards back to the 38-yard line. That'll make it 1st down and 15 to go as Dennis Brown barks out the signals, looks down the line of scrimmage. Going back to pass. Fires it right over the middle. It's overthrown. Intended for Jim Mandich down at the 25-yard line. Mandich was hit by Jay Breslin, the roverback for the Spartans. Breslin, Jack Zindel are both sons of former Michigan State players. Second down and 15 yards to go. Brown is now 1 out of 2 in the passing department. Brown on the option, rolling to the left. He's going to keep the ball this time. Cuts back in, hurdles one man at the 35-yard line, and he's pulled down at about the 32.
Down the ball carrier. He was tackled by Bailey.
Hitting him over there was Charles Bailey. Here comes Jerry Insland back in at split end for Michigan, and Bill Harris goes out of there. Brown moved that ball right back to the original line of scrimmage, just over the 33-yard line. So it's 3rd down and 10 yards to go. Time continuing to run out here in this first quarter. 3.5 to go. Michigan holding on to a narrow 1-point lead, 7-6 here. Gabler this time is flanked wide to the right. Imsland's put off 5 yards to the left as Brown is rolling back to pass. Fires it, intended for Gabler in the end zone. Touchdown! But a flag is down. Wait a minute. A flag is down. Let's see who it's against. Pushing off on Michigan State. The touchdown will count. away from Dennis Brown to John Gabler. And that ball was thrown perfectly as Brown just lofted it up in the air and let Gabler run under it in the end zone. Frank Waters was back with Jay Breslin to defend on the play, and I believe Waters was the boy guilty of the pass interference on the part of Michigan State. But it didn't make any difference as Gabler gobbled it up. And Michigan now leads 13-6, and Tim Killian will be trying to make it 14. Here's the kick. It's partially blocked and doesn't get over the crossbar. It was partially blocked at the line of scrimmage and sailed underneath the crossbar, so the score holds Michigan 13, Michigan State 6. Covered 74 yards in 5 plays. Brown to Gabler for 33 yards and a touchdown with 3:20 to go in the first quarter.
Don, we noticed that John Gabler was injured on that touchdown reception in the end zone. He's over here talking to the team physician right below us at the Michigan bench.
Well, he was suffering from a neck injury, as you know, in the Duke game. Let's hope that it isn't a recurrence of that. Here's the kickoff. Comes down to Highsmith. Comes right back up the field to the 25 to the 30-yard line, and he's hit at the 31-yard line and knocked down. Frank Titus, who kicked off, was in on the stop along with George Huey and Bill Federico. Eric Federico, I'm sorry. They say his knee touched down at the 29-yard line of Michigan State, so the Spartans will put it in play from that point. 1st and 10 to go. Michigan leading 13-6. Dennis Brown with 2 beautiful passes on that last drive after he had stayed on the ground most of the first quarter. Here's a wide pitch out to Wiedemeyer. He's going to throw a pass. Long and intended for Brenner. It is incomplete. Broken up down there by Jerry Hartman. And Tom Curtis at the Michigan 34-yard line. That was the flanker pass. As you know, Charlie Wiedemeyer is a former quarterback. He was a 2-year understudy for Michigan State, but moved this year to a flanker back. And Wiedemeyer took the wide pitch out from Bill Farraco, went way back to his 20-yard line and fired the pass. It was a long pass and perfectly thrown, but great defensive work by Jerry Hartman, and Tom Curtis broke it up. 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Farraco is going to go back to pass this time. Fires it. It is incomplete as Brian Healy almost had himself an interception. As that ball hit him on the shoulder at the Spartan 35, went high into the air. The intended receiver, Frank Foreman, couldn't get it either as it bounced away from him out of bounds. So it is 3rd down and 10 yards to go. That stops the clock with 3:03 remaining in this first quarter. Gordon Baudel checks into the lineup. Tommy Love goes out of there. So again, we're going to have the situation of 3 ends in the Spartan lineup, and Baudel no doubt will line up as the slot back to the left, and he does, along with Charlie Wiedemeyer as Farraco is back to pass on 3rd and 10. Runs out of the pocket. He's going to run with it to the 30. And gets away from one man and goes out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Bill Seymour had a shot at him back there. Couldn't get him. Tom Stinsik finally ran him out of bounds up at the 35-yard line, but it'll be short of the 1st down. So Michigan State will be forced to punt. Farraco couldn't find anybody open as they sent 4 men down that time, but Michigan's defensive secondary really put a blanket on the receivers. Back to punt is Dick Berlinski once again. Comes up to the 25 to get it away. A high spiral. Fair catch called for by George Huey. He grabs it at the Michigan 29-yard line. Don Baird, the offensive left guard, was down there looking right in the eye. So Michigan will put it in play 1st and 10 from its own 29. Let's quickly pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the University of Michigan Broadcasting Service. Tom Hemingway, Dave McKay, and Ed Burrows back at Michigan Stadium. 1st and 10 for the Wolverines. They lead 13-6 on a draw. It's given off to Ron Johnson over the left side of his own line up to the 33-yard line where he runs into Charles Bailey.
He was tackled by Bailey.
Here comes Jack Harpring back into the Michigan lineup at left guard, and Dick Calderazzo will come out of there. Al Brenner comes into the Michigan State lineup, and Jack Zindel goes out of there. Brenner gets a little breather as plays both split end and safety for Michigan State. Second down, 6 yards to go on the option. Brown pitches back to Johnson. Gets a block from Craw. He's open at the 40, the 45, the 50, cuts back at the 45, and he's knocked down at the 40. A beautiful block by Darby Craw on the left cornerback. Frank Waters cleared the way for Johnson before Bailey and Brenner finally could knock him down at the Spartan 40-yard line. Ron Johnson pouring it on again on that one. Johnson, who so far this season has picked up 374 yards coming into this game, and that's good enough for 11th in the nation. And once again, the big man out in front of him, Darby Craw, put on the big block. First and 10 to go for Michigan at the Spartan 40. Brown sliding off to the left this time, gets a good block from Johnson. He fakes the pass, goes with it himself to the 39, the 36-yard line, where he is upended. By Ken Heft, who seems to be shaken up on that play. Heft is going out of there, and Harold Phillips is coming in for him. It's at the 36-yard line of State, second down and 6 yards to go. Heft missed his sophomore season because of a knee injury. So Harold Phillips, a sophomore from Detroit, has checked in at that right cornerback position, second and 6 for Michigan. Motions right, pitch back to Johnson. He's going to throw the pass. Fires it. It is intercepted at the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, 45, 40, 35. Knocked out of bounds is Jay Breslin. No, make that Frank Waters. Frank Waters intercepted that halfback pass thrown by Ron Johnson, and Ron Johnson finally got back there himself to knock him out of bounds. A big interception by Frank Waters at the Michigan 30, and he ran it all the way back. The Michigan State 30, and he ran it all the way back to the Michigan 30. So the Spartans get life. With just a minute and a half to go in this first quarter, and they have it first and 10 at the Michigan 30-yard line. Brenner is split to the right. Baracco moves him up to the line of scrimmage. Works out of the eye. Gives off to Tommy Love. The second man through finds a big hole over the middle. He's down inside the 20-yard line to the 17. Ed Moore is the sophomore linebacker for Michigan. On the right side, made the stop. And Michigan State now seemingly coming to life here on that big interception by Frank Waters. Have driven deep into Michigan territory. First and 10, that's the Michigan 17-yard line. Baracco again from the eye, and again he gives it to Love, and this time Love is stacked up by the left side of the Michigan defense, led by Phil Seymour. Love that time gained perhaps only a yard as they mark it at the 16-yard line. Some first quarter scores. Western Michigan leads Kent State 7-0. The ball resting just inside the 16-yard line. Make it second down and 9 to go. Arbor leads Columbia 7-0 after the first quarter. This time they keep Wiedemeyer in tight. As on the option, Baracco going to keep it himself, and he is hit by Tom Curtis at the line of scrimmage. Phil Seymour also broke through there to hem him in, but there was no gain on the play. So make it third down, and still 9 to go. Less than 30 seconds to go. Clemson leads Auburn 3-0 after the first quarter. This could be the final play. Third and 9. Baracco's back to pass, and he's hit off back to the 24-yard line. Filling through there for Michigan was Henry Hill, the sophomore middle guard, and Tom Goss, the senior tackle. A big play for the Wolverines as they knock Baracco back to the 24-yard line, so that'll make it 4th and 18. Let's see if we're going to get a field goal attempt coming up here now. Gary Boyce has 2 out of 3 so far in field goal. And Charlie Wiedemeyer is kneeling back at the 30-yard line, but time has expired in this first quarter, so we'll have to wait for the second quarter to begin before we get the field goal attempt. All set to go now here in this second quarter as Michigan leading Michigan State 13-6. Gary Boyce ostensibly will be trying a 41-yard field goal. But Michigan not going to be caught napping. They can recall not too long ago that the Spartans tried a field goal, apparently tried a field goal, and threw off of that field goal formation into the end zone for the first touchdown of the day. And teams have ways of remembering that, along with coaches. Charlie Wiedemeyer is kneeling at the 31-yard line. Gary Boyce, a left-footed kicker from St. John's, would be attempting a 41-yarder. The ball is placed down. It is up in the air. It is. No good. Off to the right. So the Wolverines defense has risen to the occasion to stop the Spartans after interception and run back by Frank Waters had given them great position.
On that halfback option, I watched Michigan work out a couple of times this week, and they've been throwing that play with Johnson throwing downfield to the split end, and that time Waters just laid back and waited for it. He knew it was coming.
1st and 10 to go for Michigan. Brown gives off to Johnson. Over the right side he goes. He's tripped up at the line of scrimmage, falls forward for perhaps 3. Al Brenner, the safety man, came in to get a hand on him. Back at the 20. He finally fell forward where Jay Breslin got to him. They mark it at the 23-yard line, so make it 2nd down and 7 yards to go. It's one of the things about Johnson. You can hit him once, twice, perhaps 3 times, but he's very, very hard to knock down. 2nd down, 7 yards to go. They send Craw in motion to the right. Play action off to Johnson on the pitch out. He gives wide to the right side and rustled out of bounds at the 28-yard line by, again, safety man Al Brenner and Rich Saul, linebacker. We mentioned Saul leads the team in tackles with 35. He and Ron Saul are identical twins. Rich is 218 and Ron is 235. Both these lads were teammates of Terry Henretti back in high school in Butler, Pennsylvania. 3rd down and 3 yards to go. Jerry Imslin is split to the right. A handoff to Johnson, and Johnson fights his way up close to the 1st down at the 30-yard line. Gary Nowak got a hand on him, and it is enough for the 1st down as he fell over the 30. Also getting to his feet slowly after the tackle was Al Brenner. Here's a first period score, and here's the big one of the Big Ten today. Ohio State nothing, Purdue nothing after 1 quarter of action. 1st down and 10 yards to go now. As Brown again gives off to Johnson. Right up over the middle he goes and falls forward to the 35-yard line. Stringing out behind him there was rubberback Jay Breslin and Wilt Martin, defensive left end, who made the first contact with Johnson. Here comes Jim Betts into the lineup for Michigan, and John Gabler goes out at flanker. Very happy to report that Gabler was not seriously injured on that touchdown, and he has been back in there. 2nd down and 6 yards to go as Betts comes wide to the left. Betts is a sophomore from Cleveland. Saw a lot of action last week. A good fake by Brown. He's back to pass. He's got to scramble around. He's going to be hit for a loss. Way back to the 24-yard line. Wilt Martin. And Bill Dawson.
He was tackled by Dawson and Martin.
A pair of sophomores. That time shot through that line to knock Brown back to the 24-yard line where it's 3rd and 17. Dawson has been bothered by injuries. He broke a foot in an early scrimmage, but is back in there now. In motion to the right goes Johnson as Brown keeps it and slides up over the 25 to the 27, 28-yard line. He runs right into the arms of Mike Hogan. Another sophomore from Dayton, Ohio. Both these lineups are well sprinkled with sophomores on defense today. That'll make it 4th down and 13 to go, and Michigan will be forced to give up the football. Michigan leading 13-6. Just over 12 minutes to go in this first half as Charlie Wiedemeyer goes back as the single safety. Standing at his own 25, Mark Warner will kick it from the Michigan 20. Gets it away. Another high one. Wobbly, however, and is angling for the sidelines and goes out. at the Michigan State 41-42 yard line. Not too long of a kick that time by Warner. We might mention Ron Johnson, who had his jersey torn on a tackle, now has got it taped up a little bit around the shoulders, and he looks, it's almost like he has a two-tone jersey out there, white on top and blue in the middle. First and 10 to go for Michigan State. They're running it from their own 42-yard line. In motion to the right goes Berlinski. Back to pass goes Baracco. Fires it on the left side. It's caught by Wiedemeyer at the 50 to the 45. Falls down and is hit immediately by George Huey. Wiedemeyer tried to cut to the outside after gathering in that pass. Wiedemeyer, not a big boy. 5'7", 175 from Kailua, Hawaii. He's a senior, and he's the brother of Herman Wiedemeyer, who you may remember a few years ago as a major league pitcher. First and 10 to go for the Spartans inside the Michigan 45-yard line. Baracco gives off to Tommy Love, and Love hurdles his way over his own right side, where he is stacked up by Tom Stinsig at the Michigan 43-yard line. Baracco has gone to the air 4 times this afternoon, has hit on 2. The Spartans have picked up 89 yards on the ground in this first half of play. Michigan, on the other hand, has picked up 105. Both teams grinding it out here. This time they move it in motion to the left, or on the reverse. They give it off to Wiedemeyer, and Wiedemeyer cuts back in at the 40s inside the 35-yard line, where he runs into Phil Seymour. That's that same play that sprung Wiedemeyer free for the only Michigan State touchdown of the afternoon. It's going to be very close to the first down, and they're going to have to measure. As they do, let's check out a couple of other scores here. Boston College leads Villanova 14-0 after one period of play. VPI over Wake Forest 7-0 after one period. It is enough for the first down, says the referee. Mr. Eugene Calhoun inside the Michigan 35, so first and 10 to go for the Spartans. Their 7th first down of this afternoon. Baracco turns, gives off to his fullback Berlinski, and he spins his way down to the 30-yard line of Michigan. Dan Parks got a hand on him, along with Cecil Pryor and Tom Goss. Out there leading the interference that time was tight end Frank Foreman.
An awful lot of inside reverses used by Michigan State, Tom. They're trying to set up the trap block in the backfield on some of Michigan's young, eager linemen there. Dan Parks, Ed Moore, Henry Hill. They're trying to cut them down on that maneuver.
Second down and 6 yards to go. Over the ball at center goes Tom Beard for Michigan State, replacing the injured Eddie McLeod. Pitch out goes to Tommy Love. He juggled it, but holds on to it, moves down to the 25-yard line, and George Huey, the right cornerback, comes up to make the stop. Love didn't have good control of that football. He had it bouncing up and down in his hands, but luckily enough, he got control before he was hit by Huey, or it could have been disastrous. Al Brenner comes into the ball game, replacing Gordon Baudel at the split end. Brenner getting a little breather there. The ball resting at the 26-yard line. Third down and 2 yards to go for the Spartans. Everybody in tight as the handoff is given to Love. He piles his way up over the line, and he is going to be very close to the first down as he dives over the 25-yard line into a mass of humanity. Michigan, Tom Goss in on the bottom of the pile. And let's see as they place it down. It looks from here as though he may be just inches short. And that's it. Just inches short. Fourth down. A half a length of the football to go for the first down at the Michigan 25-yard line. As the Michigan fans now say, hold him, hold him, hold him. And the Michigan State fans counter with go, go, go. Now Eddie McLeod is back into the ball game at center for Michigan State, and Baracco puts his head down on a quarterback dive and slides off the right side, and I believe he has the first down. He has. Baracco simply slid off the right side of his center McLeod, and moved it the needed half yard for the first down. So it's 1st and 10 to go at the Michigan 24-yard line. First period score, Princeton 21, Dartmouth 7. Under 9 minutes to go in this first half now. Michigan leading 13-6, but the Spartans are moving as the handoff is given to Tommy Love, and Love is close to the 21-yard line on the dive off the right side. Tom Goss, first to hit him with a shoulder to knock him off stride, and Phil Seymour fell on him at the 21-yard line. Second down and 7 yards to go. You can't see a seat vacant here at Michigan Stadium this afternoon. And what a gorgeous day it has turned out. 70 degrees, very little wind. Second down, 7 yards to go. Everybody tight in the backfield. The wide pitch out goes to Love, starts around the right side, is tripped up at the 20 and falls forward to the 17-yard line. Tom Goss, again, first to get an arm on him, and Tom Curtis came up to hit Love at the 17, where they mark it. Third down. And he's got about 3 yards to go for the first down, and here comes sophomore Henry Hill back into the lineup for Michigan. Jerry Miklos comes out of there at middle guard. Third down, big 3. Morocco splits his setbacks. Gives off to Dick Berlinski, and he is stopped at the 15-yard line. He will be shy of the first down as he tried it off his own right side. Ran into Phil Seymour, and again Tom Goss, who is seeing a lot of action in that tackle department today for Michigan.
Tom, whenever you see a close yardage situation and a big pile of Michigan defenders, you can bet that Tom Goss is on the bottom. He is absolutely outstanding football player for the University of Michigan.
Michigan State now is called for a timeout, so we have a timeout on the field with the score Michigan 13, Michigan State 6.
Surprised that Michigan State hasn't put the ball in the air just a little bit more here in the second period. Things have been a little stingy on the ground, and they've been up against it on third down plays a couple of times, but they seem to want to maintain sure possession of the ball. Of course, they have great respect for Michigan's defensive backfield, which none better as a ball hawking outfit in the Big Ten, and they proved that last year, but it's got to give one of these times now. And Wiedemann situation, he'll probably throw again right down now at 15-yard line. Probably the first play, or if they can make this first down, it might be a quick one to go in the end zone with. They're known to do that type of thing.
I can't help but believe that this may be just setting up that all-important big play when they do have to have it, perhaps to drop back and hit that pass. The ball resting squarely at the Michigan 15-yard line. Fourth down and a yard to go for the Spartans. Morocco turns and gives off to Love, and Love has a hole over the right side. He is hit at the 14-yard line, and boy, this is going to be close. Jerry Hartman and Tom Stitzy came up there to submarine him at the 14-yard line, and boy, this is going to be close. They've got to bring the chains in from across the field. Hartman simply put his shoulder down to try to stop him right in his tracks after Stinsik had wrapped an arm around him. He's going to be either shy or over by just about a half a length of the football, and that's exactly it. He is picked up a first down by just about a half a football.
Tom Gordon Bodell just checked into the lineup for Michigan State after checking with Daugherty over there in the sidelines, so you could watch out for this one.
He's in his foot end replacing Al Brenner. First and 10 to go. As Bill Morocco leads him up to the line of scrimmage. Splits his setbacks. Waits for the snap. A fumble! And it looks as though Michigan State is on it. I believe Morocco recovered his own fumble along with the right offensive guard, Ron Saul. Saul came up with a football, actually. And Actually spotted right at the line of scrimmage. So it is second down and 10 yards to go. Still at the Michigan 14-yard line in possession of Michigan State. They trail the Wolverines 13-6 with 6.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Karaku again splits his setbacks. The pitch out to Tommy Lowe. Swinging wide around the left side. Cuts back at the 20. Fights it off, but he's not going anywhere. Cecil Pryor, the first to nail him, and he wasn't going to be shoved aside, and you know who, Tom Doss, right up there to assist him. Now we have another timeout indicated by Michigan State. Let's check it to see, however, if it's going to be the full duration since the trainers have not come onto the field. I don't believe it is. It's not going to be a full minute timeout. Dave?
Tom Cecil Pryor that time on the right side just would not be denied. They usually spring out of play until somebody catches up from the inside defense. It's usually Goss, as you mentioned, but that time Pryor didn't wait. He went right after the ball carrier and chased him down. It was almost looked like a rabbit being chased down. He just stayed right after him for about 5 or 6 seconds and eventually got the tackle.
Tom Stinsick, the acting captain on defense for Michigan, has checked over the sidelines, now goes back into the huddle, defensive huddle for Michigan. As we're just about set to go again, Michigan State with the football, third down now and 16 yards to go. With the ball resting just inside the 20 of Michigan. 6:06 showing on the clock. Time remaining in this first half. Here come the Spartans. Way out to the right this time. They send two men, Gordon Baudell and Al Brunner. They have Wiedemar set in the slot to the right. The pitch out goes to Berlinski, and he is hit right at the 20-yard line. Bill Seymour making the stop as they sent everybody but Duffy Daugherty out to the right side that time, and apparently on a pass play, but they tried to cross him up and pitch it back to Berlinski, and Seymour just wasn't buying it, Dave.
Tom, that time Seymour wasn't even blocked. He simply ran by them. He jumped across the line of scrimmage so quickly that they couldn't set up for him at all.
Gary Boyce now will be attempting a field goal from the 27-yard line, which would be a 37-yarder. He just missed a 41-yarder. It's up. It is no good. Again off to the right. And again the Michigan defense has held, and listen to this crowd. Once again, the Michigan defense equal to the task as they held the Spartans, and for the second time, Gary Boyce misfired on a field goal attempt. So it's 1st and 10 to go for Michigan. Jim Betts in at flanker, wide to the right. The handoff is given to Johnson. He's going to be hit right at the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard loss. Bill Dawson, big middle guard from Tucson, Arizona, 235, 6'3", made the stop on Johnson. Dawson, like the other middle guard, Jack Zindel, an excellent wrestler. Jack Harpering in at left guard now for Michigan. Dick Calderazzo comes out of there. Jim Betts flanks wide to the left. In motion to the right goes Craw on the option play. Brown keeps himself, and he is hit right at the line of scrimmage for no gain. The scrimmage of the 19-yard line, and that's where Brown got back to, and that was all as Gary Nowak came around to spelling. Nowak, one of the many sophomores on this Michigan State team. He was All-State both in football and basketball at St. Clair Shores. So it's third down and 11 to go. As Jerry Imsland splits wide to the right, and Jim Betts comes out wide to the left as the flanker. Brown has gone to the air only 4 times. He's hit on 2. He's rolling out this time. He wants to throw. He does a long one, intended for Betts. It is incomplete at the Michigan State 30. Betts was covered by Ken Heff and Frank Waters. And Betts, although he does possess great speed, just couldn't quite catch up to that football. Brown led him just about a step too far. Well, a little bit dissatisfied with himself as he comes over to the sidelines, but he threw that football a long, long ways. And it would have had to have been a perfect play all the way around for him to connect. The Spartans had great coverage on Betts. So it's 4th and 11, and Mark Warner will be punting from his own 10-yard line as Wiedemeyer drops back. Here's the punt, a better one this time, and it's a high sailor. Wiedemeyer catches it at his own 32, back to the 35, and is hit on a beautiful tackle by Jim Mandich, and a flag goes down at the 36-yard line. A flag is down. Let's check it. Apparently a clipping penalty coming up here against Michigan State, which seems to be the case. As Wiedemeyer fielded that ball, he tried to swing wide to the right, but Jim Mandich was just standing there like the Colossus of Rhodes, and Wiedemeyer ran right into it. And Mandich is no fellow that you're going to run over. That 2:15, 47-yard punt that time by Mark Warner, and the 15-yard clipping penalty now moves it back to the Spartan 24-yard line, where they have it 1st and 10 with just under 4 minutes to go in this first half. And now let's see if the Spartans do open up a little bit and go to the air. They've only thrown 4 passes, completed 2. Faraco takes the snap, wide pitch out to Don Highsmith, who's in at the running back. Wide around the left side he goes and comes up over the 30-yard line to about the 32. Highsmith in for Tommy Love now. Highsmith has great speed and also a great blocker. Tom Stinson got over to make the stop along with Henry Hill at the 32-yard line. That'll make it 2nd down and about 2 yards to go. Highsmith, incidentally, has Gale Sayers as his idol, he says. It's not a bad fellow to pattern yourself after. Highsmith from New Brunswick, New Jersey. He's lined up now behind Reggie Cavender, who's in there at the fullback. And again, the ball is given to Highsmith, and he fights his way up to about the 34-yard line, close to the 1st down. Ran into the middle of that Michigan defensive line. Cecil Pryor, Phil Seymour, all coming in to make the stop on it, and it is enough for the 1st down for the Spartans. At their own 34-yard line, that's the 10th 1st down of the day for Michigan State. They have gained 124 yards unofficially on the ground so far this afternoon. Michigan, at the same time, 104 on the ground. Less than 3 minutes to go now in the first half. As the wide pitch out again to Highsmith. Cuts back in at the 35 and is hit right there. First in to get him, Tom Goss, around the ankles. Stinsick came in to fall on him at the 35-yard line. So make it a gain of 1, 2nd down and 9 yards to go. Gordon Baudell comes into the Spartan lineup. Let's see who goes out of there. Al Brenner.
Tom Seymour and Cecil Pryor are forcing just about every wide play by Michigan State inside, where Goss and the other tackle on the other side can handle it. They're doing a great job.
2:20 showing on the clock. 2nd down and 9 yards to go. On the option play, Bronco scrambling around, fires it right over the middle, it's complete to Wiedemeyer at the 42 of Michigan State, to the 45, to the 47, 48-yard line. Hit by Tom Curtis. And that's another 1st down for the Spartans. Faraco sent the play action to the left that time, and then after everybody had vacated, Faraco simply dropped back and hit Wiedemeyer right over the middle of the line. And Michigan State has it. 1st and 10. The ball resting squarely between the 47 and 48-yard line, in possession of Michigan State in the Spartan territory. Less than 2 minutes to go. This time, wide pitch out to Highsmith. Around the left side he goes, and he is hit on a beautiful tackle back at the 46-yard line by sophomore Ed Moore. Baudell goes out of there now, and Brenner comes back in at split end. Brenner, the captain from the Spartans. And he will become the 2nd leading pass receiver in Michigan State history this year with 5 more receptions. He hasn't caught any so far. 1 minute and 20 to go. 2nd down and 12 yards to go. As back to pass goes Faraco, getting the time, scrambling around, fires it. It's intercepted by Healy at the 45 of Michigan, trying to swing wide, and he's knocked down at the 48. Brian Healy, the Sandusky, Ohio junior, came up with the first interception for him this afternoon. As Don Baird made the stop on him. So Michigan has it with just over a minute to go at their own 48, 1st and 10. see if Dennis Brown now puts the ball in the air. He's thrown only 5 times in this first half. Jim Betts, the flanker to the left. High formation behind Brown. Brown rolling off to the left. He's going to throw it. He fires it. It is intercepted at the 45 and knocked down at the 50 is Ken Hepp. So the teams trade interceptions. Brown overthrew Betts at the 45 and the ball went right into the hands of Ken Hepp. So Michigan State takes over, and now let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the University of Michigan Broadcasting Service.
WUOM, the University of Michigan station in Ann Arbor.
Back here at Michigan Stadium, Tom Hemingway, Dave McKay, and Ed Burrows. Where with just 57 seconds left in this first half, Michigan leading Michigan State 13-6. The Wolverines, Brian Healy, came up with an interception to give the Wolverines a 1st and 10 to go from their own 48. And then on the very next play, Ken Hepp, a senior from Birmingham, picked off a Dennis Brown aerial and gave the Spartans the ball right back. So Michigan State now has it just over their own 49-yard line, 1st and 10. Here's another score. First period, California nothing, Army nothing. Don't forget at halftime, the Battle of the Bands, Michigan State and Michigan. Always one of the most colorful, musical presentations of the year.
Here's the first period score. Army nothing, California nothing.
In there at a defensive end now for Michigan is Jim Wilhite. They're replacing Cecil Pryor, who seems to have a bit of either equipment trouble or perhaps shoulder problem. We have a note here about John Gaber, who we'll pass along to you in just a minute. Here's Farraco on the 1st and 10, back to pass, rolling off to the left. He's going to have to run with the ball, comes back to the 50 to the 45 of Michigan. Swings wide, knocked down at the 41-yard line by Phil Seymour and Tom Goss. As Farraco was trapped and got back to the line of scrimmage. Then broke free for an additional 9 yards, make it 2nd and 1. Michigan State lining up without the huddle. With just 30 seconds to go, and Farraco fires it out of bounds to stop the clock. Overshot Frank Foreman. John Gaber will be out for the rest of the game because of bruised ribs. That's the report from the Michigan dressing room. So John Gaber has suffered his 2nd injury of the year. Knocked out of the Duke game because of a neck injury, and now he is disabled because of bruised ribs. So evidently we're going to be seeing sophomore Jim Betts for the remainder of this contest at the flanker back, because Paul Stroba, the sophomore from Flint, suffered a shoulder injury last week. 3rd and 1 to go. Back to pass goes Farraco. Scrambling around, he's going to be hit for a loss. Tom Goss, Knoxville, Tennessee senior, playing one of his greatest days, and that Michigan defensive line came through there like a rocket to knock Farraco down. Cecil Pryor is back in the lineup, so he's okay. This could be the last play. As Farraco fires to Foreman, 45, and he is knocked out of bounds. The clock still shows 3 seconds to go, so Michigan State will be able to get off another play perhaps. Foreman gathered in his first pass as Michigan just went ahead and let the tight end grab it. Well, now wait a minute, the clock shows 3 seconds to go. But that was short. That's right. That was short of the first down, so the ball does go over to Michigan. I'm sorry. I'm going to give Michigan State 5 downs here on that one. So Michigan will have time to run one more play, as Foreman was short of the first down. Yeah, get her straight here. 3 seconds now. This should be the final play of the half. Michigan leading 13-6. As Dennis Brown going back to pass. Fires it. It's complete to Mandage at the 50. Scrambling around, staying on his feet at the 45, to the 40. Hurdles one man and is finally dropped, and that will be the final play of the game as Jim Mandage just rolling away from tacklers half time to stay on his feet. So as the teams leave the field, the score at halftime, Michigan 13, Michigan State 6. Right now, we're awaiting the second half kickoff. As here comes Frank Titus, here comes the boot. A line drive kick, hitting on the Spartan 5 and picked up there by Highsmith. To the 10 to the 15, 20, 25, hurdles one man, 30, and he's out to the 32-yard line. In that first half, Michigan picked up 7 first downs as compared to 11 for Michigan State. On the ground, Michigan with 105 yards, the Spartan 124. Michigan gained 90 yards through the air. The Spartans 35 for a total of 195 yards for Michigan and 159 for State. Michigan attempted 7 passes, completed 3, had 1 interception. Michigan State tried 8, completed 4, and they had 2 intercepted. First and 10 to go for the Spartans. They're running from their own 33. Paraco gives off to the first man through fullback Dick Perlinsky, and he's right up over the middle of the line, over the 35-yard line to about the 36. Tripped up by Henry Hill, the middle guard. We're passing along some other scores here that we have at our first opportunity. Second down now, 6 yards to go. Michigan leading 13-6 as the handoff this time is given to Tommy Love, and he submarines up close to the 40-yard line. Again, right over the middle of his own line. Tom Goss getting a hand on him. Dan Parks. Ball resting just shy of the 40-yard line. Make it third down and 2 yards to go. And a big play for the Spartans as over the ball at center comes Eddie McLeod, the senior from Fairborn, Ohio. In motion to the left goes Berlinski. Wide pitch off the Love. Around the left side he goes. Cuts back in at the 40, goes to 42, 43-yard line and looks from here as though he has the first down. Tackle made by George Huey for Michigan. Limping off the field now is Tommy Love. And Don Highsmith comes in to take his place. And there's an injured Michigan man, George Huey, who made that tackle. Barry Pearson, a junior from St. Ignace, coming in for Michigan. As the officials have called for a timeout to measure for the first down. And it is just enough for a first down for Michigan State. George Huey has limped off the field, and Barry Pearson has gone in for him. So it's first and 10 to go for the Spartans at their own 42-yard line. Don Highsmith, a junior from New Brunswick, New Jersey, has replaced Tommy Love at the tailback position for Michigan State. Set in the slot to the right is Wiedemeyer. In motion to the right goes Berlinski. The handoff is given to Highsmith. Finds a big hole over the left side on the trap. And he's inside the 50, down to the Michigan 48-yard line before Barry Pearson made the stop.
Down Duffy Daugherty and the Spartans coming right at Barry Pearson. He just got into the ball game with George Huey coming out with, I think, a slight head injury, a little dizzy coming off the field. And they ran that ball right straight at Pearson, but he was equal to the challenge and brought down the runner.
Dave, they're just a half yard shy of the first down as the ball is inside the 49 of Michigan. As the handoff again is given to Highsmith, he's hit at the line of scrimmage, but it looks as though he's got enough for the first down as he fell down to the 47-yard line as he was hit by Tom Goss. And let's see, are we going to have another measurement? We are. They're going to bring the chains in once again. Let's quickly pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the University of Michigan Broadcasting Service.
WUOM, the University of Michigan Station in Ann Arbor. Now, while they're finishing up the measurements, getting the change reset, I was just going to mention Tom Goss. I have not seen a Michigan football player penetrate into a backfield since maybe the likes of Tom Keating about 4 or 5 years ago. Goss is terrific.
It was enough for the first down, so it's first and 10 to go over the Michigan 48-yard line. A handoff is given to Highsmith. Big hole over the right side. The 35, the 30, and he's knocked down inside the Michigan 30-yard line by Barry Pearson. John Highsmith, who has come out here to replace Tommy Love, exploded over the left side of his own line. And Jerry Hartman is now limping off the field. He has been hampered by ankle injuries. throughout this season, and going in to take his place is Bob Wedge. And now Michigan's going to have to call for a timeout to get him in there, and we've got a timeout on the field with a score, Michigan 13, Michigan State 6. Now let's see if we have time to run down some of these scores that we have. The big one at Columbus, Ohio on Columbus Day, which seemed to favor the Buckeyes. Between Purdue and Ohio State, there is no score after one half of action. Purdue nothing, Ohio State nothing. There is no score between California and Army after the first half. Boston College leads Villanova 21-0 after the first half. Syracuse on top of Pittsburgh 24-17 after one half. Princeton 21, Dartmouth 7 after a half. Western Michigan 14, Kent State nothing after a half. Missouri leads Colorado 7-0 after one quarter. Alabama 7, Vanderbilt nothing after a quarter. North Carolina 17, Maryland 14 after a half. VPI 7, Wake Forest nothing after one half. Dick McCoy has replaced Dan Parks at right side defensive tackle for Michigan now, as the handoff is given to Highsmith, and he hurdles his way over the middle of the line close to the 25-yard line. Highsmith, looking more like a high hurdler than a tailback right now, has a flag down on that last play. Apparently a personal foul penalty coming up against Michigan State. That was the preliminary signal that we got. Here comes Jerry Miklas back in at middle guard for Michigan. Henry Hill comes out of there, and it's a 15-yard walk-off against the Spartans, moving it back to the Michigan 41. Hill is limping a little bit also. This has been a bruising, tough, hard-fought football game, as they always are, between the Spartans and the Wolverines. Make it first down and 22 yards to go from the Michigan 41. Michigan leading 13-6. Berlinski and Highsmith lined up in the eye as Berlinski goes in motion. The handoff over to Highsmith, and right up the middle he goes on another trap. Down to the 33-yard line, where he was hit by Ed Moore, right side linebacker, a sophomore from Youngstown, Ohio. Here comes Gordon Baudell into the Michigan State lineup. Al Brenner going out of there at split end. That time they had Berlinski in motion to the right. They pulled the left side linebacker for Michigan away with him and opened up the middle for the trap, and they sprung Highsmith loose. Third down, 13 yards to go. A gain of 9 on the last play. Back to pass goes Baraka, scrambling around back there. He's going to be hit for a loss. Jerry Miklas, middle guard, senior from Chicago, Illinois, and Tom Goss broke through that Michigan State line to nail Farraco back at the 42-yard line of Michigan.
Tom Goss pick himself up off the ground. He looks as if he's at least 98 years of age. When the ball is snapped, he's about 16, the way he races around out there. It's incredible.
His nickname is Goose for his distinctive walk. In there to do the punting now is Dick Berlinski, coming up to the 50 as he gets it away. A high punt that will hit on the 5 and go in. Let's see. Flag goes down. It went into the end zone. But let's check it out as a flag was thrown. And they're going to bring it out to the 20 to put it in play. There was not control of that football, as there has to be to down it. You can't simply touch a football on a punt and expect it to be grounded at that point. And that's what happened that time, as the Spartans did get a hand on it about the half-yard line, but it bounced into the end zone, and there was no control, so they will bring it out to the 21st and 10 to go. There is 10:41 showing on the clock in this third quarter. Michigan holding a 13-6 lead. Jim Betts now playing flanker back as John Gabler is out with a rib injury. Dennis Brown sliding down the right side. He's going to run with the ball, and he is hit and dropped back of the 20 by Gary Nowak, a sophomore defensive left end from St. Clair Shores. Here's a first period Big Ten score: Indiana 7, Iowa nothing. Don Law assisted on that tackle. Here comes Jack Harpring into the lineup at left guard for Dick Calderazzo. Harpring, a sophomore. Very versatile lineman. Play about any interior lineman position. Second down, a loss of one on the last play. Make it 2nd and 11. As Brown hands off to Johnson, and he is hit on a bruising tackle right at the line of scrimmage by Bill Dawson. Oh, did Dawson unlimber a tackle on Johnson right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. 3rd down and still 11. Iowa State leads Kansas State 7-0 after 1 quarter. There's a big 3rd down and 11 now as they flank Betts to the right. As back to pass. A little swing pass out to Johnson at the 20. Stiff-armed one man, but is knocked off his feet at the 25-yard line. Kenny Hepp made the tackle on Johnson as he simply dove for his knees and blocked him out of bounds at the 25 before Johnson could turn upfield any farther. Hepp, who was shaken up early in the ball game, back in that defensive secondary for Michigan State. So Michigan now will be forced to give up the football. 4th down and still 5 yards to go. Mark Warner will be doing the punting again for Michigan. And this time they're dropping Frank Waters back as the single deep man. And he fields the punt at the 38. Back to the 40 and is snowed under by 4 Michigan tacklers at the 40-yard line of Michigan State. As they unpiled Dan Deerdorf, Bob Penksa, and Ron Johnson all off the pile. 37-yard punt for Werner, run back of 2. Resting right at the 40-yard line of Michigan State. 1st and 10 to go for the Spartans. Eddie McLeod over the ball at center. Baird and Saul are the guards. Van Elston, Wysinski the tackles, and the handoff is given to Don Highsmith. And again, he hurdles over the right side of his own line and picks up about 4 to the 44-yard line. Dan Parks in on the stop for Michigan. And Henry Hill, who is back in at middle guard. A pair of sophomores. Michigan now with 3 sophomores in that defensive lineup. Hill, Parks, and Moore. 2nd down and 6 yards to go. Wiedemeyer, 7 the slot to the left, and the handoff again is given to Highsmith. He spins away from 2 tacklers and moves it close to the 50-yard line. Holding on to his ankles was Cecil Pryor, as the ball resting just shy of the 50-yard line. 3rd down and less than a foot to go for the 1st down. George Huey back into the Michigan lineup now, and that's good news for Michigan fans. 3rd down, less than a yard. Ferracco is going to dive for it himself as he's over the 50 and apparently has the 1st down. He ran into Henry Hill. Ferracco got enough for the 1st down, and that is the 15th 1st down of the day for Michigan State. Michigan State sticking pretty much to the ground. 176 yards on the ground as opposed to 35 through the air. First and 10 to go for the Spartans. Wiedemeyer in the slot to the left. Bowdell is the split left end, and on the reverse, it's given off to Wiedemeyer. Around the right side he goes, down to the 45-yard line. Runs into Phil Seymour and Brian Healy. As they spot the ball shy of the 45 in Michigan territory. Make it 2nd down and 6 yards to go. The Michigan defensive line now reading Seymour, Goss, Stinsig, Hill, Moore, Parks, and Pryor. On the 2nd down and 6 play, the handoff is given to Highsmith. A big hole over the left side. He's down to the 40, the 35-yard line. As Bob Wedge made the stop on him from his right safety position, and it's enough for another 1st down. Number 16 for the Spartans. Don Baird and Eddie McLeod are doing a tremendous job up front for the Spartans, opening up that hole for Highsmith, who has replaced Tommy Love, who limped off the field early in this half. First and 10 to go. Time running with less than 7 minutes to go in the third quarter. Michigan State trailing 7-6. Highsmith again with the football, and over the right side he goes this time, down to the 31-yard line.
Stopped by Goss.
Tom Goss, Tom Stinsick, both on the tackle. Nothing fancy, nothing devilish about this at all. It's straight power running by Don Highsmith and some great blocking on the part of the Spartans. Michigan has called for a timeout. There's a timeout on the field with the score Michigan 13, Michigan State 6.
Tom, I think the fact that Michigan State is playing a grind-em-out type of ball game, they haven't gone for the bomb as of this point. I think they're just that one occasion they did early in the first quarter. I think they're pretty well gives a commentary on the Michigan passing attack. Daugherty knows that Michigan can score in the air, and he wants to hold on to that football for the duration of the ball game if he possibly could, and give Michigan just as little an opportunity to score as they can. State has made about, I think 4 first downs with just a matter of an inch or two out there, and that's been actually the difference in Michigan getting the ball, having an opportunity to score, and they're not. And you've got to look at that as the game continues. If State can keep this ground game moving, as they have been so grudgingly, that it's going to hurt Michigan, because one quick score by State and they're right back in the ball game and in the lead.
The ball is rest 31-yard line of Michigan in possession of the Spartans. Second down and 6 to go, and the clock shows 6.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Michigan leading 13-6, but the Spartans again are driving. High formation behind Farraco as he gives off to Highsmith, cuts back in, finds a hole at 30, the 25, and he's close to the 25, and here's a fumble. Let's see, it's picked up in midair by George Huey and is stopped immediately, and Michigan takes over. Highsmith fumbled. The ball came right up to Huey in midair, and he fell immediately, and Michigan has stopped the drive at their own 19.
Tom Highsmith at that time made a great run up the middle, and he was dragging a couple of Michigan tacklers, and as he fell to the ground, the ball squirted up in the air, and Huey was standing there, and he was just surrounded quickly. Never had a chance to return it. He was just caught flat-footed, and a real break for Michigan.
Well, let's see if the Michigan offense now, buoyed up by that fumble recovery by their defensive cohorts. Fake handoff by Brown. Quick pass up to Mandich at the 25. He spins away from one man, is knocked out of bounds at the 30. Jay Breslin and Charles Bailey came over to make the stop on tight end Jim Mandich. A first down for Michigan. Their 8th of the afternoon, but first of the second half. Brown has gone to the air 9 times, has hit on 5. And a major share of that receiving has been on the part of Jim Mandich. John Gaber, of course, catching the one pass for a touchdown. But I believe, memory serves me, the other 4 have gone to Mandich. Here's a wide pitch out to Johnson. Gets away from one man at the 35, to the 40, the 45, to the 50, the 45, to the 40, the 35. Put on a beautiful block along with Jim Bentz, and finally Frank Waters got back to make the stop on Johnson, and every time he turns it loose, you run out of adjectives. He put one man into the hole back at about the 35-yard line. He offered him an ankle, a hip, a shoulder, and when the defensive man went to grab for all 3 of them, none of them were there. First and 10 to go for Michigan at the Spartan 27-yard line. Brown, quick spot pass, incomplete. Intended for split end Jerry Imsland at the 25-yard line. Thrown a little hard. Imsland couldn't hang on to it. First quarter score, Notre Dame 7, Northwestern nothing. The Wildcats with the most ambitious and rugged schedule, I believe, in the annals of football in the first 5 games. Playing Miami of Florida, Southern Cal, Purdue, Northwestern. Here's the handoff given to Johnson. Fights his way back to the 25-yard line, but that's all he's going to get. A fine tackle put on by Rich Saul. Linebacker on the left side. And Johnson never was able to pick up any kind of steam on that one. The ball resting at the 25-yard line. Third down, 8 to go. Brown has now thrown 10 times, completed 5 for 106 yards. Brown fakes on the bootleg, rolling off to the right, goes back to the left. Johnson is all by himself, but he was overthrown by Brown. Oh, Ron Johnson had swung out from his tailback position as Brown started the motion all to the right, suddenly reversed himself, threw back to the left, and Brown simply tossed it over his head. Tim Killian is coming to the ball game now for Michigan, and apparently will be attempting a field goal from the 32-yard line. Killian, a big, strong sophomore from Lincoln Park, 6'4", 220. John Moorhead, South Haven sophomore, kneeling at the 32. Here's the kick. It's a high one in that direction. No good, they say, off to the left. Killian had the height, but not the range. So the Spartans hold on defense. After an electrifying run by Ron Johnson and driven the ball deep into Michigan State territory, the Spartans rose up to stop the Wolverines cold. We've got 4:58 to go in this third quarter, and Michigan still leading 13-6. Michigan has not won against State since 1955 here in Ann Arbor. The Spartans put it in play. 1st and 10 to go, and the handoff is given to Highsmith, but he is stopped dead in his tracks. Henry Hill submarining in there from his middle guard position.
Highsmith, the ball carrier. He was stopped by Hill and Goss.
They did give him about a half-yard gain on it, so we'll call it 2nd and 9 as the ball resting just over the 20-yard line of Michigan State. John Highsmith has certainly put on quite a show since coming in here in the second half, replacing Tommy Love. Back to pass goes Baracco, getting the time, fires it. It is complete to Baudel at the 30-yard line. He's hit immediately and down at the 32. Gordon Baudel, the Allen Park Jr., was hit by Tom Curtis after he gathered in that Bill Baracco pass at the 32-yard line. That's enough for another first down. Now that is Baracco's 9th pass of the day and his 5th completion. Henry Hill comes out of there, and Miklos goes in at middle guard.
Tom, a great toss by Baracco that time. He was just about to be surrounded by Goss and Parks, and he threaded the needle upfield. He did a fine job.
Baudel has gone out of there, and Brenner back in and split end. Wiedemeyer's flanked wide to the left. Brenner split to the right. Baracco hands off to Highsmith, and he is hit at the 32-yard line. It spins free to the 34. Ed Moore dragged him down. Highsmith has that high pumping knee action that you see on so many great runners. As we mentioned earlier, and I think it bears repeating, Gale Sayers has been his idol for some time, and he seems to pattern himself after Sayers, of course, as if anybody could come close to Mr. Sayers. Brenner out, Baudel back in at split end. He's off to the right. Wiedemeyer to the left. Baracco bootlegging the ball off to the left. Looking downfield. He's going to run with the ball back to the 40-yard line. Hit there by 2 Michigan tacklers, Tom Goss and George Huey. The ball resting right at the 40-yard line. 3rd down, and a yard to go for the first down. Less than 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. Baracco now in a big 3rd down play. Sends in motion Berlinski to the left. Pitch out back to Highsmith. Turns the corner at the 40. He's up over the 42 to the 43, and it looks like he's got the first down. It's 18 for the Spartans today. Here comes Pryor out of there, and Jim Wilhite back in at defensive right end. Pryor getting a breather. Talking with Denny Fitzgerald. Down on the field. Fitzgerald on the phones up to the press box right now. Michigan State now has called for a timeout. So there is a timeout on the field with the score Michigan 13, Michigan State 6.
Now we've got to visit just a little bit about Tom Goss. Here's a senior coming into his own this season. He's definitely, from this performance out here this afternoon, taken over the defensive leadership. which Michigan has needed so badly. They're really an organized outfit out there today on defense. And you know, the number of tackles that he has made in this ball game is outstanding by the fact that Michigan State has not run at him. Most of his tackles are made 35 or 40 yards across field on sweep plays, and he's got to avoid about 9 guys taking a shot at him on the way across. He's an excellent football player, big and agile, and he just never lets up, no matter what the occasion is. He's been in there pressing Farraco on several occasions, just missing an opportunity to drop the Spartan quarterback on passing situations. He's a great one.
At the end of the half, Georgia Tech 7, Tennessee 10. At the end of three quarters, Columbia 7, Harvard 14. At the end of the half, Temple 14, Bucknell 16.
Spartans are put into play first and 10. Quickly some scores. Tennessee leads Georgia Tech 10-0 after the first half. Harvard leads Columbia 14-7 after three quarters. Air Force leads Navy 7-6 after the first quarter. The ball is resting squarely at the Michigan State 43-yard line. First and 10 to go for the Spartans. The clock showing only 2:24 remaining in this third quarter. Wiedemeyer is set in the slot to the right as Baudel is split off to the right. Handoff is given to Highsmith. He fights his way down inside the 45-yard line to about the 46. Highsmith doing the yeoman ball-carrying duties now for Duffy Daugherty Spartans. Runs into Bob Wedge on that play and Ed Moore. The ball just shy of the 47-yard line, still in Michigan State territory, but a gain on the last play of 3. Make it second down and 7 yards to go. In motion to the left goes Berlinski. Wide pitch out to Highsmith, fighting his way back inside. Over the 50 he goes, down to about the Michigan 48-yard line. That's going to be enough for another first down. Highsmith that time was following Ron Saul over his own left side. Tom Stitzig made the stop. And let's see, we have an injured player on the field is Michigan State Spartans, so Michigan State has called for another timeout. So there is a timeout on the field with a score Michigan 13, Michigan State 6.
Earlier time what a bruising ball game this is, and Michigan felt the blow to Hartman as he went out with an ankle injury here early in the second half. He's had that ankle problem all year long. He is a fine defensive back, and certainly he works together with his teammates back there as an excellent secondary unit for Michigan. And when he's out, they really miss him because those guys communicate, and they've hawked an awful lot of footballs together. And you can bet that he'll be trying to get back into that lineup just as quickly as he can.
First period score, Cornell nothing, Penn nothing. Out in the east. The injured Spartan player, Don Highsmith, has left the field under his own power, and Earl Anderson, a sophomore, is checked in for him. He is the third tailback now running for Duffy Daugherty today, and he's just back from an injury himself. In motion to the right. Goes Berlinski, pitch out to Anderson, finds a hole, back in at the 40, down to the 36, to the 35-yard line. Dan Parks slid over to make the stop, but it's a first down for Michigan State. Well, regardless of who Duffy Daugherty puts in that tailback position, he's coming on out there looking like Doak Walker. And that time, sophomore Earl Anderson from Tifton, Georgia, a scatback at 5'9", 198. Stumpy lad. Tore around that right side, got a good block from Berlinski, and gave Michigan State a first down at the Michigan 35. Again, the give goes to Anderson, and he finds a hole over the right side, and he's inside the 30-yard line. As he got some good blocks from Ron Saul and Craig Lysinski before Phil Seymour could make the tackle for Michigan. He had moved it to the 28. Second down and 3. Wide to the left goes Gordon Baudel. Berlinski and Anderson behind as the wide pitch out goes to Anderson, and he is bottled up short of the first down at the 28-yard line. He tried the power sweep around the left side, but Pryor, Seymour, and Stinsig all met him head on. They mark it at the 27, make it third down and 2. Later score from the East, Penn now leads Cornell 7-0 after the half. Henry Hill in at middle guard for Michigan. Only 12 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Could be the final play of the third quarter. Handoff given to Anderson. Bowls his way over the right side, and he is over the 25, down to the 23. That's another first down for Michigan State. Getting off the bottom of the pile, Phil Seymour. With the clock showing 2-1, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score: Michigan 13, Michigan State 6. The University of Michigan marching band playing the victors. The Michigan State marching band playing the Spartan fight song. Both cheering sections alive now and on their feet as they are looking forward to a fourth quarter that should take its place with one of the best in Michigan State, Michigan history.
Tom, I noticed when the ball was being exchanged and brought down here to the north end of the field, both teams just about walked down to their new positions. I'll tell you, the Michigan defense and the Spartan offense, they were the third period of action.
Here we go. First and 10 for the Spartans at the Michigan 22-yard line, and quarterback Bill Farraco asks the crowd to calm it down a bit as his players unable to hear the signals. Michigan, so far in this game, has gone to the ground 25 times in rushing and 11 to the air. Michigan State, 63 plays on the ground and 9 through the air. So you can see the difference in ball control. 2-1 in favor of Michigan State. Our thanks to our demon statistician Bill Swisher for that little bit of information. As in motion to the right goes Berlinski. Hand up the middle goes Anderson, but he is hit by Tom Doss at the 20-yard line, and Cecil Pryor. Also Tom Stinsig. As Anderson moved it to the 20. Michigan State so far has lost two tailbacks, Tommy Love and Don Highsmith, because of injuries. Anderson is the third tailback, employed today by Duffy Daugherty. Second down, 8 yards to go. Gordon Bodell split out wide to the right. Charlie Wiedemeyer in the slot to the right. Motion goes to the right. Wide pitch out to Anderson, and he is hit for a loss. Phil Seymour broke through there from his defensive end position to nail Anderson back at the 20. Well, they mark it shy of the 20. So he lost about a half yard on the play. Make it third down and still a little over 8 to go. Michigan leading 13-6. There has been no scoring in the second half. As both teams scored the first time, they had their hands in the football, but since that time, the defense has taken over. Farraco straight back to pass. Fires one. It's caught down to the Michigan 70 to the 5. Al Brenner coming up with a big reception. He was hit immediately by Stinsig and Huey at the Michigan 6-yard line. They mark it. First and goal to go for the Spartans. And Michigan State with their chance to take over the lead for the first time this afternoon. Here comes Ed Moore out of there at a tackle. Dick McCoy is checked in for him. First and goal for the Spartans for the Michigan 6. Farraco hands off to Anderson. He's inside the 5, down to about the 2. Cecil Pryor and Tom Stinsig both umpiling along with Henry Hill. Let's see where they mark it. At the 3. Second down and goal to go. Anderson that time carried the ball like a loaf of bread out there, and that will give coaches fits, as he was hanging it out there as kind of an easy game. Farraco turns again, gives to Anderson, and he's in there! Touchdown, Michigan State! Earl Anderson, third-string tailback from Clifton, Georgia, folded his way from 3 yards out into the end zone. And now it's 13-12 in favor of Michigan. Let's see if the Spartans go for the 1 or the 2-point conversion. This is what gives coaches nightmares. Charlie Wiedemeyer is kneeling, and Gary Boyce will be attempting the extra point. I don't think anybody's sitting here at the stadium. They're all on their feet. And the officials now motioning for the Michigan State fan to get back a little bit as they were kind of encroaching into the end zone. Gary Boyce will try to put it through and tie this ball game up. The snap, the ball's down, the kick, it's a fake, and Wiedemeyer's rolling back the pass. He fires it, it's complete. A two-point conversion to tight end Frank Foreman. And Michigan State has gone on top 14-13. The Spartans with a great bit of deception. Charlie Wiedemeyer kneeling at the 10, spun off of it, went back to the 20, and he eluded a Michigan tackler and fired that ball right where it had to be to Frank Foreman, the tight end from Louisville, Kentucky. And the Spartans have gone on top 14-13. But we've still got 12:48 to go. That last drive covered 80 yards in 16 plays, with Anderson taking it in from 3 yards out. Gary Boyce will kick off for Michigan State. George Huey standing at his own 5. Here he comes. Low kick. Hits on the 15, picked up by Huey at the 10, the 15, the 20, and is hit at the 24-yard line. On a good driving tackle by Frank Waters. And let's see, the last man up, big number 97. Martin. Michigan will put it in play. First and 10 to go. We'll get a station break here at our first opportunity. First and 10 for Michigan. In motion to the right goes Johnson. Brown keeps it, and he's up over the 25, and that's it. Now, quickly, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the University of Michigan Broadcasting Service. Tom Hemingway, Dave McKay, and Ed Burrows back here at Michigan Stadium, where the Wolverines have it 2nd and 8 to go. They trail 14-13 for the first time in the ball game. A flag goes down, and it's going to be against Michigan as the pass is thrown upfield and it's incomplete. Flanker back Jim Betts just moved a second too quickly from his right side that time, as either he couldn't hear Brown's count or he jumped off just a minute second, but that was enough, and an illegal procedure penalty against Michigan. Here comes Bill Harris into the lineup for the Wolverines, and Jerry Imsland comes out as split end. Let's see what the Spartans want to do with the penalty. They evidently are going to decline it. Of course, there was no gain on that last play with the incomplete forward pass, and the Spartans say, no, we'll take the down. And that makes it 3rd and 8. Brenner goes out of there now as another defensive lineman checks in there for Michigan State. Flanks to the left. Harris, foot right. Fake to Johnson. Brown is chased back there, and he finally gets rid of it to Craw, but he's going to be hit for a loss back at the 18-yard line. Tremendous pursuit on the part of the Spartans that time. Charles Bailey had Brown right around the ankles as he got rid of the ball. Mike Hogan and Jay Breslin stayed, however, right with Craw as he caught the ball and hit him immediately. So it moves it back to the 18-yard line, and it'll be 4th down, 16 to go, and Michigan will be forced to punt.
Now watch Michigan State will put a punt rush on this time, the likes you've never seen.
Warner has to come up to the 10. He just gets rid of it. It's off the side, angling for the sidelines, and no, it's going to stay in as it finally rolls dead on the Michigan State 42-yard line. So the Spartans now with the lead and the football, and 11:16 to go. That was a 32-yard punt by Warner. The Spartans have it at their own 42. VPI leads Wake Forest 7-0 after 3 quarters. Auburn has taken the lead now over Clemson 14-3 after 3 quarters. 1st and 10 to go for Michigan State. They have Wiedemeyer set in the slot to the right. And the handoff is given to Highsmith, who's back into the ball game for Michigan State. And Don Highsmith has a couple up to the 44-yard line, where he is hit by Henry Hill and Tom Stinsing. So Highsmith, we're happy to report, is okay and back in there for Michigan State. But what a job Earl Anderson did in coming in to replace him. The clock shows just under 11 minutes to go. Western Michigan leads Kent State 14-0 after 3 quarters. So Rocco on the reverse to Wiedemeyer, comes back to the 45-yard line, but is hit on a great tackle by Phil Seymour, right at the 45-yard line. As that time Seymour didn't move over, he held his position from the defensive left end and let Wiedemeyer run right to him. Make it 3rd down and 7 to go. In the big one down in the Southwest today, Oklahoma leads Texas 7-3 after 1 quarter. Dartmouth leads Princeton 27-7 after 3 quarters. Big 3rd down and 7 yards here. State would like to hold on to that football. A fumble by Ferracco, but he's back to pick it up himself way back at the 37-38-yard line. And although the Spartans recovered the fumble, it means they do have to give up the football. Michigan did not have it in good field position the last series of plays. And now a lot will rest on the punting ability of Dick Berlinski if he can boom it out of there and get the Wolverines backed up again. Berlinski will be punting from around his own 30. Michigan dropped 3 men back. Huey in the deep spot. Beautiful punt by Berlinski. A wonderful punt, and it goes all the way into the end zone. So they'll bring it out to the 20. Huey never had a chance as that ball sailed over his head. 62-yard punt from the line of scrimmage by Dick Berlinski. And he doesn't have a lot of wind behind him. It was 7 miles an hour from the south at the start of the game, and it doesn't look like it's picked up too much.
Tom, the name Dick Berlinski has been an echo in Michigan State games for 3 years. He's always done an excellent job against the Wolverines.
He underwent knee surgery in the spring, but bounced back from it. And remember, it's his blocking that's springing these tailbacks, Highsmith, Anderson loose. 1st and 10 to go. Brown, wide pitch out to Johnson. Cuts back at the line of scrimmage and is hit by Frank Waters right at the 21-yard line. Assisting on the tackle was Wilt Martin.
On about the last 3 or 4 occasions that Dennis Brown has thrown the ball, he has overthrown his receiver or thrown it right on by him, and he's going to have to calm down and thread the needle if Michigan is going to sustain a drive. They're not going to be able to do it all the way on the ground. That's obvious right now.
Johnson gained only a yard. 2nd down and 9 yards to go. Brown on the bootleg, back to pass, fires it. It is caught at the 32-yard line and knocked out of bounds immediately. His split end, Jerry Imsland. Knocking him out was Frank Waters. It's a 1st down for Michigan. For Brown, that is 7 out of 14 for him this afternoon. They mark it at the 32. Calderazzo comes back in at left guard for Michigan. Harpering goes out. 1st and 10 to go for the Wolverines at their own 32-yard line. The clock showing 8:41 to go in the ball game. Michigan trailing 14-13. Betts flanked wide to the left. Craw and Johnson are split behind Brown as Brown fakes to Johnson. Back to pass he goes. Fires it over the middle. It's caught up at the 45 of Michigan. Knocked down immediately at the 46. Let's check it. It's the tight end, Jim Mandich. And he was tackled by Al Brenner at the 47 of Michigan. Bill Harris goes in. Jerry Imsland comes out. Another 1st down for Michigan. Their 11th of the afternoon. Brown is 8 out of 15. And the crowd starts to roar, go, go. As Brown again on a fake, back to pass he goes, gets a good block, stays on his feet, gets away from 2 men, finally fires it upfield. It is caught at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Michigan. Jim had just about everything in the book thrown at him back there. He was able to stay on his feet. He got away from 2 Michigan State tacklers. This stadium is in pandemonium. 8:05 to go. Michigan back on top, 19-14. Jim Mandage catching that pass from Dennis Brown at the Spartan 35, and he simply outlegged the rest of the Michigan State defensive secondary into the end zone. Now let's see what Michigan's going to go for. It looks like they're going for the 2-point conversion. As Brown sliding off to the right. Wait, finally throws it. Caught! It's good for 2 points, and I think again, this time Garvey Crawl worked himself loose. It is Garvey Crawl catching that ball just as he went out of the end zone for a 2-point conversion. And it's a delirious Michigan team as they come off the sideline, and they lead 21-14. Holy cats, what a game.
Did I say something about Dennis Brown threading the needle? There were 2 passes that had to be thrown exact, and he threaded the needle right at about the 20-yard line to Mandage, and again in the end zone to Garvey Craw.
That drive covered 80 yards in 4 plays. Mandage scoring on a 53-yard pass play from Dennis Brown. Here comes the kickoff now. Frank Titus booms it up in the air, puts it at the 12. Picked up by Highsmith at the 15, the 20, the 25, and he's knocked down at the Michigan State 32-33 yard line. George Huey in on the stop. And now Michigan State. Oh, listen to this score. Ohio State 13, Purdue nothing after 3 quarters. That could knock the Big Ten into a cocked hat here early in the season. Bill Ferracco now wants to go to the sideline to talk to Duffy Daugherty, so Michigan State has called for a timeout. So there's a timeout on the field with the score Michigan 21, Michigan State 14.
Time exactly 8 minutes remaining in this ball game, and that is certainly a lot of time because both scores here came so quickly. That's the Purdue score being announced, 13-0. What period is that?
That's a third quarter score, Dave.
Ohio State 13,
quarter.
Purdue nothing at the third period mark. But there's a lot of time in this ball game, and you can bet that State will be trying to maybe grind out another one here and get back into the ball game, down 21-14. They've not shown much in the airways. What did you say, Tom, before? There were nine passes attempted?
Yeah, Michigan State now has tried 10 and completed 6 for 59 yards. They have not gone to the air very much in the second half. They have thrown only 2 times in the second half.
Only at one occasion did they throw deep in the entire ball game. That was knocked down very well by Hartman.
First and 10 for Michigan State from their own 33-yard line. And with Ohio State leading Purdue 13-0 after 3 quarters, this could be the start of something that nobody really looked for today in the Big Ten. The officials now call both teams up to the line of scrimmage and are conferring with both squads. And now the referee marks the ball in play, and here we go. The Spartans now try to come back again. Ferracco sends Berlinski wide to the left, pitches back to Tommy Love, who's back in the ball game, and he shoots his way over the 35, close to the 38-yard line. Cecil Pryor. Ed Moore in on the stop for Michigan, and Tom Goss. And Tom Goss isn't going to go dancing tonight, I'll tell you that. He has played one superb ball game.
Tommy, he's going to be lucky if he has enough energy to goose step.
Second down and 5 yards to go as Tommy Love is back into the ball game and takes the wide pitch out. Starts around the right side. He's going to throw the ball. Long one and almost intercepted as Brian Healy had the ball in his hands at the Michigan 35-yard line but couldn't hold on to it. Michigan State coming up with a halfback pass that time as Tommy Love is back into the lineup. And he fired that ball all the way down to the Michigan 35, intended for Al Brenner. But it was thrown wide of Brenner and right into Healy's hands. So make it 3rd and 5. Brenner is checking out of there, and Baudel comes in for him. Air Force continues to lead Navy 7-0 after one half. Army has taken a 3-0 lead over California after 3 quarters. Third down, 5 yards to go. A big play for the Spartans. In the option, sliding down is Faraco. Pitches back to Love. He's got the first down as he's over the 45-yard line up to about the 48. Hit by Tom Curtis. And that will be enough for the first down. The Spartans in first downs today have 23 compared to Michigan's 12. But Michigan leads in the ball game 21-14.
Down the punishing ground game that Michigan State has been playing, you've got to give an awful lot of credit to their front line. They've been doing a tremendous amount of work out there and doing it very well.
First and 10 to go for Michigan State. On the option this time to the left. The pitch back to Love. Around the left side he goes at the 50, the 45. Out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Run out over there by Tom Curtis. At the 40-yard line, and that'll be enough for another first down. What do the Spartans have on the ground so far, Bill? 288 yards. Don Highsmith has come in at tailback now, replacing Tommy Love for the Spartans. Henry Hill's checked out, and Jerry Miklos in at middle guard. Clock shows 6:49 to go. The option to the right this time. Faraco keeps the ball and gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. Hit by Jerry Miklos, Ed Moore, and Phil Seymour. Halftime score, Indiana 21, Iowa 21. Those Hawkeyes have an explosive offense out there at Iowa City. Their main trouble has been defense. Next week, Dave McKay and I will be in Bloomington, Indiana to take a look at the Hoosiers of Indiana University. Second down, 10 yards to go. No gain on that last play. Clock running with just over 6 minutes to go. In motion to the left this time, Berlinski. Back to pass goes Faraco. He fires it over the middle to Wiedemeyer. Catches it, and he couldn't hold on to it. He was hit by Phil Seymour as he caught that ball, and then the force of Seymour's tackle jarred the ball loose, and it was ruled as an incomplete forward pass. They bring it back to the 40, third down and 10. Notre Dame leads Northwestern only 7-0 after one half. Boy, the Wildcats, the old story of sink or swim for them this year. Minnesota leads Illinois 14-3 after a half. Third down and 10. Faraco dropping straight back to pass, getting the time, loops one downfield. It's intercepted and tackled immediately at the 15-yard line is a very happy Tom Curtis. Frank Foreman and Gordon Baudel made the tackle immediately on Curtis, who picked off that interception. He had 7 last year to tie a Big Ten mark, and he fired that ball 80 yards into the air after he caught it. So Michigan now at their own 16, and they have one object and one object only right now, and that is to hold onto the football and try to eat up the clock. Dennis Brown calling for quiet. Takes the snap, rolls off to the right. He's going to keep the ball back to the 15, to the 20. A beautiful block at the 25, the 30, the 35, and he's knocked out of bounds. Oh, did Garvey Crawl put a block on the left cornerback of Michigan State? And Dennis Brown is knocked out of bounds at the 42-yard line of Michigan. Final score, Arbor 21, Columbia 14. First and 10 to go for Michigan. Dennis Brown moving up to the line of scrimmage. Turns and gives off to Garvey Craw, the first man through, and Craw is up to the 47-yard line. Oh, when you're passing out accolades after today's game, don't forget Garvey Craw. Gary Nowak made the tackle on that last play. Craw has unlimbered some blistering blocks here this afternoon, plus coming up with some big ball-carrying duty. 5:20 to go in the game. Michigan with a 7-point lead, and they have the football 2nd and 6. A handoff to Johnson, finds room over the left side. He's inside the 50, down to the Spartan 45. Rich Saul in on the tackle. And they spot it just over the 45 of Michigan State. First down and 10 to go for Michigan. They have 14 now. Up to the line of scrimmage come the Wolverines. Over the ball at center goes Dave Denson. The clock running with less than 5 to go. Brown again gives off to Craw, and he fights his way for a couple. Down to the 42-43-yard line. Richard Benedict from East Lansing made the tackle on Craw. Here comes Calderazzo back into the Michigan lineup. Harpring going out at left guard. And now, right now, so much weight lays in the hands of the Michigan offensive line. Broadnax, Deardorff, Denson, Calderazzo, Pensa. These guys control the game. A handoff to Johnson. Finds slight daylight over the left side, and he's inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. Stacked up by the right side of the Michigan State line. Again, Rich Saul coming over there, along with Don Law and Ken Little. They mark it just shy of the 38-yard line. 3rd down, 5 yards to go. And the clock shows less than 4 minutes to go. Third down and 5 as Brown snaps out the signals. Rolling off to the right. He's going to keep the ball to the 40, to the 35, to the 30. That's enough for a first down. Run out of bounds by Frank Waters as Dennis Brown again picking up a tremendous block from Craw on the right side, shot down the sideline to the 29-yard line of Michigan State, where it is 1st and 10 to go for Michigan. On a key 3rd down play, Brown keeping it himself, sweeping around the right side. Here come the Wolverines, 1st and 10. Clock shows 3:35 to go. Brown takes the snap, hands off to Johnson, cuts back in over the middle of his own line, and he's down to about the 25-yard line. Rick Benedict coming off the pile. Charles Bailey, as Brown followed his center, Dave Denson, to the 25. No score, Mississippi and Georgia after 1 quarter of play. 2nd down, 6 yards to go. Clock running with 3 minutes to go. Harris split to the right. Betts flank to the left. Handoff is given to Craw, and he stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain by Rich Saul, the linebacker from the left side, who just simply brushed off all the blocking on the part of Michigan and wrapped his arms around Craw right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on it, make it 3rd down and 6. Here's another big 3rd down play.
Right now you've got to watch Dennis Brown and his favorite receiver, Jim Mandage, on this clutch play. He may try to pump it right over the middle to Mandage to pick up the 1st down.
You may recall they didn't throw to Mandage too much in that Navy game. They threw the split ends off. The crowd coming to its feet now on a 3rd and 6 situation. Brown gives off to Craw. Big hole over there. 20, 15, 10, 5. They're mobbing Garvey Craw. They are killing Garvey Craw. He broke over the middle on a trap He was hit by 2 then 3 Spartan players at the 15, at the 10. They put one on him at the 5, and he simply pulled him right into the end zone. And we just got through talking about Garvey Call, the junior from Montclair, New Jersey. And on a fake third down play, he simply rips off 25 yards for the touchdown. Michigan leads 27-14. And now Tim Killian will be attempting the extra point. It is good. And as the team come back up the field, the score, Michigan 28. Michigan State 14. Listen to this crowd. That drive of Michigan covered 85 yards in 9 plays, with Craw taking it in from 25 yards out. And the Michigan crowd, which has not seen a Wolverine victory over Michigan State here in Ann Arbor since 1955, are on their feet. Here's the kickoff. Fielded at the 5, back to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, straight up the field to the 30 comes Tommy Love, where he is hit by Frank Titus, who kicked off for Michigan. And Eric Federico. So the Spartans now in a desperation situation, trailing 28-14 with just 2:05 to go, have the ball first and 10, just over their own 30. Don Highsmith has gone out of there, and Tommy Love comes in at the tailback, and we may now see Bill Farraca going to the air. Although he has thrown only 13, he's just about got to put it in the air now. Scrambles around. Now he's going to run with the ball to the 30, to the 35, and is knocked down at the 39-yard line. On a bruising necktie tackle by Phil Seymour. The clock running with less than 2 minutes to go. And Michigan State has only 1 timeout left. That's important to remember, as they have had to take a couple because of injuries here in the second half. A minute and a half to go as Al Brenner comes in and Gordon Bodell checks out. Bill Farraco, the senior quarterback from Irwin, Pennsylvania, who has played a magnificent game here this afternoon. Back to pass he goes. Fires a looping one, and it's intercepted by Seymour at the 47 of State. And that puts the icing on the cake. Dick Berlinski, the intended receiver, made the tackle immediately, but there is a flag on that last play, so let's hold off here now. Limping is Tom Goss as he comes back upfield. Now, wait a minute, it could be against Michigan, which would nullify that pass interception. A personal foul penalty against Michigan, roughing the passer, will nullify the interception and will give Michigan State a first down at the Michigan 46. Tom Goss limping off the field now. His place has been taken by Ed Woolley. The ball resting just shy of the Michigan 45. A minute and 18 seconds to go. Michigan leading 28-14. Farraco. Back to pass. No, it is Bill Triplett in at quarterback now, scrambling around, going to run with the football to the 40, to the 35, and is dropped at the 33-yard line by Ed Moore and Phil Seymour. Bill Triplett, a sophomore from Vicksburg, Mississippi. Running with that football, and Michigan State now is called for a timeout to stop the clock, so there's a timeout on the field, and the score Michigan 28, Michigan State 14. Triplett is known for his running ability. And Duffy Daugherty, hoping that he would be able, perhaps if he kept hit on the long bound, to find running room and weaken in the
if Bump Elliott were leading in this ball game by 30 points, he still would not gamble on Michigan State. He's got Tom Goss and Henry Hill right back in there as first-string defense here with about just over a minute to play in the ball game. You never know what's going to happen. You play it right down to the wire in this type of a ball game.
I can tell you one thing, not very much of this 102,000-odd crowd have left. Here we go, 1st and 10 for the Spartans. Triplett roaming around the backfield. He fumbles the ball, and let's see who's got it. It's back at the 43. Michigan has recovered. Well, it was either Jim Willard or Ed Moore on that football. I don't know who'll be given credit, but Michigan has taken over the football with less than a minute to go. They lead 28-14, and Michigan now, I believe, is coming in with their second unit. Don Moorhead, Warren Sipp, Jim Betts, and Lance Shuffler in the backfield for Michigan. As Bump Elliott handing things over to his second unit, as on a straight-ahead dive play goes Don Moorhead, to the 45-yard line, 46. The clock shows 40 seconds to go. 2nd and 5 to go. And now the Michigan crowd coming to its feet and starting to applaud as again Moorhead just holds on to the ball and slides up to the 50. Let's quickly pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the University of Michigan Broadcasting Service. The crowd starts to call off the time here with 5 seconds to go. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the ball game. And the University of Michigan has come up with a 28-14 victory over arch rival Michigan State. And the Michigan team leading the field, surrounded by delirious fans here who have swarmed out of the stadium as they go to the far tunnel on the other side, and it is a happy Wolverine crew and Coach Bump Elliott, who shakes hands with Duffy Daugherty at midfield and walks off.